what I will do, right? The first thing is to understand the basic things like what are data types, right? So all programming language have almost same thing. And you're gonna find a string. So if the string, right, is stored in one of the variables, let's call it num, right? The variable name can be, whatever you like to add, camel case, just single, even just n, right, is okay. Or maybe my full name, right? Like that is also still okay, right? So let's call it num store 20, right? That is number. So any number is stored in a variable, that is number. You just have to understand where and how I'm using this, right? I'm storing in a variable, or I'm just, maybe I have a function, I'm adding two number, something like this, right? I'm just returning 20 plus 30, right? It's okay. Your function will just return this 50, right? But again, the point is what you're going to do when you return that value. So that's the question. You have a string, let str equal to whatever in the quotation mark, right? That is a string. Then you have boolean, right? So that is true and false. Okay. Then you have null, basically not let, but let's call it just call it null, right? And undefined. So when there is no value, let's say you create a variable, right? You create a variable, let value equal to, just variable like this. This is declaration. Declare the variable means you define the name of the variable. There is a variable in memory, but it has no value, right? So when memory creates, what gonna happen when memory is created, right? You're gonna see this, memory that is global execution. You're gonna have like a memory here, and also you're gonna have what here you're gonna have, let's call it code to execute, right? So this is in the, if this is in the global, what gonna happen? This val will be created here. That's it. And remember, it has undefined, right? Value is undefined. When the code run, when code start, what you have to understand is everything starts with the memory creation. First step one is memory creation. Step two is running code, right? So if that there is only one code like this, then here you don't have anything to assign to the val, right? But for example, maybe later you're gonna get let's call it like val equal to, so I'm calling memory val equal to 20, right? Later, maybe sometimes. So in that situation, you will be assigning this 20 to the code here, to the val, right? Okay, so undefined will be replaced with 20. And now you, after this, if you call like a console log, log val, right? Let's call it value. So here, because now you assign this value, that is the first thing to do. The second thing, your code execute is this one. Okay, so here you are doing same thing, console log, like you are doing same thing, console, how to write, console.log val. Okay, so that is the code execution. So this val, you're gonna look inside your memory now. If you have the value 20, it will print in the console, you're gonna get 20, right? If there is no value, then you will get maybe undefined. Yeah, you're gonna get undefined, right? So that's the thing you have to understand. So always remember, if you have function, it will create a function. Function can, if that is in the variable, then You can call it a function, like variable, like add is a function. So it will have this function here. So every time you call the function, right? Because we use, something, just remember simple formula, right? If we use something later, like you define the function once and you use it later again and again and again. So how you have access to that function, right? Everywhere in that program. How? Because that is in the memory. That's the key here. The function we defined and the variable we defined is in the memory already. That's the reason we have access to that one. That's the whole game here. Anyways, let's solve some problem now, right? Any question on this, guys? So if not, I will just quickly take. So that is easy one. So maximum, let's do this. Yeah. Because when you do the revision, right, you realize, how things work. So this is, yeah, let's see, array here. I'll just put inside this one. More you like do the revision, right? And when you understand, really, you get it. You feel different, and that's how you learn, right? Step by step. Once you start understanding everything, then it will become normal. Okay. Write a function maximum that accepts an array as array of a number as a argument. The function should return, right, the largest number of the array. If array is empty, then function should return null. So null is what we define, right? We give something to null, okay, as a value. So I'll just write here const maximum. That's the function name. I'll just create a variable, and then I'm going to define the function here like this, right? So function accepts an array. So my function here, when I call the function, right, when I'm calling this, it is accepting an array. So here I have to receive that in a variable, because if I'm sending this data, right, to my function maximum, I have to receive it in a parameter that is also a variable, because it will create a memory array, and that this data or this value will be stored in this array. Okay, ARR equal to this. So we done here. Next is the function should return the largest number of an array, right? So now I have to find the largest number from here. So what are the idea I can do, right? What are the things I can do? For example, let's understand this normal, right? Let's go here. I can write. Yeah. So let's see what I can do, right? This is the array. Let's say 5, 6, 8, 20, whatever number here. If I have to return the largest, right? What are the things I can do? Can you give me? First, I have to read one by one. That is for loop, right? Okay. So this is index. The array starts with index, right? Index base. Okay. So that is index 0. So, in the function, right, we have a function. Remember that? So the function has a parameter. I call it array ARR. So in the memory, right, I have this array now. So I can write a loop now, because now I have this ARR in the memory with this data. I'm going to write a for loop, right? So because I need an index, so I'm going to keep this. Then I will check if I is less than my memory array dot length. So what is the length here? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? This will be 4, okay? and I plus plus. Now tell me, if I have to get the first number, right? I can store here. I mean, now I'm inside. I want to execute some code here, right? So if I need to get the, number of this index. So when index is 0, I will get 5, right? 5. So now here is first time. Okay, let's write here. When I is 0, the value I will get is 5. When I will be 1, the value I will receive is 6. When I change to 2, the value will be 8. When I is 3, the value will be 20, right? So here first time I0 I will receive 5, right? So I have to find the largest number, What is the idea I can take now, right? What are the things I can do? So I will compare this number with something, okay? And store if there is the large number, right? So what I will do, I will just, because I have a function here, functions, here is an array, I'm doing work inside, right? For example, okay? So I will create, let's call it let largest, right? Equal to right now 0. I will compare here now. If this num is greater than largest, greater than or equal to largest, right? Let's call it greater than, no need equal to here. Largest. See? I'm comparing with this 0. If this num, right now I have 5 here, 5, the first for index 0. So that is true now, right? That this will give me true. Then that means I'm gonna just store this num to largest. Now, so this num I transfer to the largest. The largest was 0, right? So now it will become 5. And after that, let's say this is the if block, right? So here is the for loop closing. So after the if, I plus plus happen, because this is, as long as this is true, I plus plus gonna happen, right? So now I become 1. So for 1 index, my num will be 6. So I'll check num, that is 6 is greater than largest, that is 5, right? 5. That is true again. So largest will be now changed to 6. Again I plus plus, so now I is 2, and I here is 8, right? 8. So for 2 I will receive 8. So here I 2, because now I is 2, I'm gonna get 8. So num equal to 8. So 8 is greater than, before was 6, right? True. So every time when if block is true, you will go inside the block and you will change that number or assign the number to the largest. So now you will get here 8. Again I plus plus. So now I become 3. This time, like 3 is less than 4, that is array length. Yes, it will go inside, and array 3, I will get 20. 20 is stored in the num, right? So I'll check num, that is 20 greater than largest. Yes. Then you again go inside this block, because your if is true, so you have to go inside and change, make this change, right? So largest equal to 20. So now here is 20. So this process, right, will guarantee me I'm gonna have the whatever the number I will have in the end, I will get that as a largest number. So after that I will return, right? Here I'm going to return after for loop. So here, okay, return a largest, correct? So I will get 20. But I will check one more thing, right? The question is saying if there is no number, right, just return return what? Null, okay? So in the function first line, what I will do is I will check. What I will check, right? If that array dot length is like length is less than, right, or equal to, less than or equal to 0. just call it equal to 0, right? 0. Then just return it null. Okay, same time return null, right? So let's look at this quickly. Okay, let's write the code now, right? I hope you get the idea. If anything, you can ask me, right? So the first thing I will say is, if this array dot length is equal to 0, that means if there is nothing, like in this case there is nothing, right? So this will give me true, and I will just return null. That's what the question is saying to do me, right? So remember, in function, when you return, the function will just stop right there, means the function finished executing. Okay, but if the length is, let's say 5, 6, whatever, right, that means this will be false. Then nothing gonna happen. It will move to the next step. So now next step is for loop, right? So let I equal to 0. I is less than array dot length I plus plus. Okay, now let num, right, equal to array square bracket I. So the first number will be 5. Okay, so I have a number. I will check if this number is greater than, I need a storage now, right? So here I will create one like a reference. Let's call it largest equal to 0 for now, right? Because why 0? Because number may be 1, 2, 3, right? Maybe. So let's make it 0. If that is greater than largest, true, right? If that is true, then largest equal to no. So every time I find the true condition here, I will change this largest to that new number. So this process, this for loop will repeat, or whatever the length here, and in the end you're gonna have the largest number here, right? And that is what you're gonna return, largest. So if I run this code, let's see, say you have 7, 19 and null, right? Okay, so that's how you have to think. And if you know, like same thing, right? If you go back and let's call it here, if you if you have to define the call stack and all that, how you gonna do that? Let me reset. I mean, you get the idea, but let's quickly do this. So that's the code, right? The first thing what gonna happen, you will create call stack. Okay, then you have the memory and the, so fine. So you have that memory here. So let's say this is the memory and code to execute. Now the function, right? You have the function. What are the memory here in this whole thing, right? Whole this function. So the first thing is your function called maximum. That's the function, right? And then inside the function, that is, see, this array is this whatever inside the function right here, this is these things will creates when the function execute. Okay, but that is the only thing I have, maximum. I don't see anything, right? No, that is the only thing I have. Now code runs. So the code will look for the first thing, maximum variable. Okay, I have in the memory. What is the value? The function. So I will just store the function here. That function is everything. Start from here to here. This whole thing is stored here, right? In that maximum. Now done. Anything else? Oh, okay. I have this first line of code. So I will now, next line is console.log maximum, right? maximum, maximum. And this receives the value, that is array, right? Array. Okay, so that is what. So array is 5. Let me write here 5, 6, 3, and 7, right? So you are calling this console log maximum function. Okay, you call that function, right? So now the function execute. Okay, what I said before, when the function execute, it will create the new execution context. Okay, so let's find all the variables and functions, whatever in that function, right? So the array is the first one. Then let's array, then you have what else? You have largest. Okay, after that you have for loop, nothing, right? Fine. So the next thing is array. So this array, it will receive the value from this array. It will be stored here, right? Okay, that is 5637. Largest 0. Fine. Now code will, because this code running, when it will receive value, right? When the code start running, okay, that time. So the first thing is array. That will be the first line of code to execute. Array equal to whatever data here stored in the, like 5, 6, 3, 7, like that, right? Next one is largest. It will store 0 there in the largest. Next one is for loop, right? The for loop will do everything again. Let's create here a for loop. So it has also the memory and the code to execute. What are the memory in the for loop? I. Then you have num, right? That's it. So I and num. So code will run I equal to 0. The num is array I. So array 0 will, array is what? You will get array here. Let's say array is here. Array 0, that will give 5, right? So it will have 5 here. And what else? Now you have a if here, right? So you are checking here. The code is running here inside the for loop, right? If like 5, that is num, right, is greater than 0, that is largest. True, then largest equal to, that is num, that is 5 right now. We have num, that is 5, right? Num. So this 5. So largest equal to num, that is 5. So now largest 0 changed to 5 here in the memory. See? And I plus plus happen here. I plus plus after that. So now I become 2 in the memory. You're gonna check now. Basically array, sorry, not 2, right? 1. After 0 it will be 1, right? So that is what array 1. So array 1 is where here, right? In the basically here the code is running somewhere here, okay, inside this if inside the for loop. So array I will, again this line of code, right, will be array I, that is 1. You're gonna get the 6, whatever the value 6, right? So that will store in the num. Next line is compare, right? You compare this part. If 6, num is 6 greater than 5, yes, then just change 6 here, right? So it will be 6. Okay, I mean after that it will change here 6. It will go to the next one. Next time is 3. 3 is less than 6, so it will do nothing, right? Then next time will be 7. 7 is greater than 6. So that's why it will change largest to 7. And when the loop is stopped, right, it will just return that 7. And once you return it, the function will stop, right? So once that whole thing stops, this whole code execution, right, let's call it global execution context, will be deleted from the here, right? But remember one thing, this is I'm just talking about the first line, right? This whole process for the function, this one and this one, gonna happen to this one and this one also, okay? And after there is no more code, right, then this whole global execution context will be removed from the call stack. So this enter first, and then this function, right, function execution context enter second. right? So this can be changed. This can be keep changing for every time, for first console log, second console log, third console log. And after there is no more code to execute, then even this will be deleted. So okay, so that is the one. Okay, let's do one more, right? Let's quickly do the one more. What is saying? Word count, right? So write a function word count sentence, and so here is a sentence and the target words, right? This one. So the that accepts a sentence, string, and an array of the target words. Fine. The function should return a count of the number of word of the sentence that are in the target word. Okay. So it's saying we have this string, right? You take one by one. This word, you just grab it and check how many. Okay, is that the function should return the count of the words of the sentence that are in the target. Okay, so we have to count, right? How many words from here are inside this? So open is there. Now the please is there. So 2, right? 1 and 2. In the drive to the cinema, the only thing is the. So THED is there. This is the and the driver, right? Okay, this is just the drive, not the driver. So that's the only thing is there. 1. Can I have that can? So I is there and can is there. I and can, right? Great. So, I mean, you get the idea. Okay, so let's solve this quickly. So this time I have 2 data, right? One is the long string and one is the array. My function accepts string and the array, right? So I'll write const word count equal to define the function, and function gonna receive 2 things. One is string and the array, right? Whatever data you are passing, you have to store that in the variable. Okay, this variable, right? So the first one will be stored in the first variable and second data will be stored in the second variable. So I need to find the count, right? Count. So let's do one thing. I will just, I don't know, but I'll just create one variable count and this have a value 0 right now. Next thing is how I'm gonna, like, because I need to get this word, right? This word and check inside here. So that in order to grab each word from the sentence, right, I have to split it in an array. So let a new array, or maybe split, right, equal to string dot split. This is a function or method, right, which is gonna convert the string into array at every space, right? So this space will be, so in the between the space, each word will be added in the array, right? I mean, we can just return this and check the new array. So if I return right now, right, I should get this result here. So let's see, because we have console log. This function, basically this function 3 times, this function will be called, and that function returns just by converting this into array. That is all, it does not matter what you have here or all that, right? I'm just checking what I have here converted to. So go back and check now. So see, this is what we receive, the array of sentence here, right? The array from this sentence. Split will split each of the word into array element at space. Okay, so you can add whatever here condition, right? but right now the space is more like a reasonable, what not let's call it more like a things what we need, right? Anyway, what we can do now, uh, now I need to get each word from here, so we know what to do, right? To get each element of the array, what is that? For loop. From new array, right? From new array, length, okay? And I plus plus. So let I equal to 0, I less than a new array dot length I plus plus, and here, so let word, right? I can call word equal to array index. Same thing now, this the whole process is same. Array index will give me the first index 0 will give me this open, right? Second index 1 will give me the, next one will give me window, and next one will give me please, right? So this for loop will run till the length. Basically one index less than length, right? That is what I need, because index is always one less than the length. So my last index here is 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So when the index will be 4, my loop will stop because the length is also 4. So 4 is less than 4, that is false, and this loop will stop, okay? So that's the whole logic for the when you're dealing with the string and array. Now I will check if this array dot includes word. Can we do that? So it will give us something, right? If this array has this word, includes gives true and false, something like this. Let me, how I can do that, like, so for example, let's in the console, right? Let's say this array, let's make an array, right? And I'll just put one, maybe 1 like that, and comma and 2, right? 2. I just put 2 word. This array dot includes, and I will pass here empty, that is false. But if I pass here 1, see, I get true, right? So what we have to understand is includes returns the result that is boolean, true and false. If passed string is inside, or whatever passed thing is there, whatever you're passing to the includes is matching, right? Or it finds, then true, not finds, then false. So we're gonna get true and false. If true, right, that means that tells us this word is inside this array, right? Inside this array. Open is inside this array. Then only you're gonna receive true here. Now if is true, then we can go inside and do something. What is that? Increase the count by 1. Look at the count here, right? Just increase that by 1, and done. The for loop will finish. So we can have our count, just return that count and run this, right? See, so okay, so we get even 2. What is the answer? I don't know. Why is it wrong, right? Something is not correct. So I receive like a open, right? Open and please, that is 2, fine. But I don't know why we get 3 here. So there is something not correct, right? Something is not correct. Okay, so I feel like I did not did correct answer. Let's see what I have done, guys. So let's see here. I equal to 0, I less than array, new array, dot length I plus plus. All right, or let's do one thing, let's see, because I need to check. I just need to check if this one and this one is inside here, right? So if I just do the opposite way, right? Like let's loop through the array. That's the array, right? This is the array. You're gonna get that word, and now we're gonna check inside this new array, right? And count, increase the count, and after that return the count, right? So let's run this. Yeah, so now it's solved. I don't know why, because I think something is repeating. Oh, okay, because yeah, here, right? Look at this, because can is 2 times here. So before we checking this can first time, then you check this one, and then you check this one also, right? So that was the not a good idea, because here is a unique, we have unique thing only, right? So either you're gonna count if this one is here or not one time. So when you find the first one, right, you get true and done. Okay, and here you check this also, so that will be the better way. So what I did, I just take this array and loop through, because the element inside here is unique, means it is not like double, right? Please, we don't have 2 times or 3 times. Okay, so that gives the correct result. Okay, so that is all, right? We have okay, you guys can try now, right? Just give a try, and then we will, because I want to finish these things this week. Okay, because we're gonna move. I want to do something else, right? Like in that question there is something related to DOM, lot of work with the DOM, and I think there are more few important things, asynchronous things, but let's not worry. I mean, as long as we can finish all this in this week, then next week we're gonna try to work with the DOM good enough, and then the asynchronous, right? That will be one of the most important one. DOM also, but async is, we are using async all the time, right? In our React or Next.js project, asynchronous. Okay, so that should be important, but you guys just do the revision and ask me the questions. In this whole thing, object is one of the most important one, object. Okay, so this is difficult to understand also, so we're going to spend some time, but let's finish array, then we're going to move to the object. And once we finish object, then we do the nesting and decomposition also. Okay guys, so I will stop here. Please solve and ask me the question, right, if you have anything out on that.